Welcome back to the channel. Right, I've tried this video at least 3 times now, and due to parts being delayed and other things happening, we've got extremely delayed. So we're delayed like 2 weeks now, and yes, the Irish Drift Championship is running the 10th and 11th of June in Watergrasshill is round 1 of the Irish Drift Championship. And we're entered and we're competing. So that's the first round, and Abby is here in the shed. What have we, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
3 weeks to get this whole car done. Right, cut to the chase. Shed, I have updates for you on the shed. I'll show you that a little later on in the video. There's a good bit of progress made with the shed. The engine and the bearings and the bolts, yeah, I'll show you that later on as well. A little bit of a long story. First things first, the bushings have arrived for the diff, the strong flex bushings. The bushings at the back of the diff were they were gone. So we've got some of them, and also the BC 12K springs, they've arrived as well. So that's going to keep us fairly well occupied. I've ordered new rod bolts for the engine as well. We'll touch on that later on. Right, I'm going to cut straight into it, get the bushings in the diff, start rebuilding the back end, get the whole back end done, get the wheels back on it, and then we're going to put in the BC 12K springs, get them fitted to the front of it as well. So yeah, it's a really busy episode and I'll be super excited. Okay, we're just going to cut to the chase straight away. How close were you to walking out of the shed?
Very close.
So that was a complete, well, didn't go the right way about it, but we've got strong flex bushings in on the diff now. A little bit dirty, but we'll clean them up afterwards once we get them into the car. Yeah, using this crappy old G-clamp wasn't really working the best, so we got it up on the vise there, and yeah, once we got the pressure on them, they popped right in. So now we're going to put the diff on the jack. I was going to push it in and hopefully we get a bolt in it and we can just fully complete the back end. So yeah, we'll do a time lapse of some of it because it'll probably take a while. I've just whatever I've in there, it's just all hand tight, so I need to go around and tighten, check absolutely everything. So yeah, we'll do a bit of time lapse of getting this in, so it'll block out all the cursing. That's the diff back in. Ground is very dirty, but in the shed updates, I won't have to worry about getting dirty again. So with the diff back in, strong flex bushings in the rear, and just a standard bushing in the front. It seems to be pretty okay, but that bolt was loosening on me last year, so I have really tightened that one up. I've checked the subframe bolts, they're all tight. So Abby is just jacking up the hub now, and we're going to get the shaft in on the driver's side. Put on the 2 shafts, and then we'll start building up easy now, Abby. Don't check the whole car. That's alright, we'll see if we're working at that. So we're going to put on the 2 shafts first, and then I'll start building up the discs and the calipers and doing all that. But yeah, do all around the diff first. And as I said, build up around the calipers. So we won't find this coming together, so we'll throw it all together. Won't do a time lapse. Can't do a time lapse of everything this episode, have we? So we'll throw it all together and then we'll check in which is then and show you the progress. Progress at long last. So basically, whole back end is all back in. Calipers back on. We do need to paint up the calipers a little bit. Paint the carriers from there off. Never mind the painting. It's going back on. Everything is back in there. The only thing I've left to do is bolt check all of the passenger side and then do the anti-roll bar, and yeah, that's the whole back end as good as done. Yeah, like there's so much going on, it's crazy. So back end, very nearly there. Do the anti-roll bar, get that in, and that's all the back end done. So pour enough lighting in here, but yeah, all is done. Just give everything quick shot of black. Got the IRP adjustable arms in there, and yeah, it's all back in. Abby is off this week, so she's going to tackle all this and get this mess tidied up in here. Gary Short hopefully will be with me Saturday, and we're hoping to have these quarters, and yeah, angle grinder, cut all of that out of it. So you won't see it in this episode, but that's coming up in one of the next episodes. I think the episodes are going to get pretty hectic now, but yeah, we're cutting all this out because yeah, it's destroyed. Yeah, so yeah, get the quarter sorted, get Abby to paint all that in there. Probably will just be painting like sort of all of this area, because we'll be probably cutting that out, and then whatever is left after there, we'll just touch it in afterwards. But yeah, boot lid coming, bonnet, scrap, and yeah, right, let me get down to roll bar back in here. We've got a new sponsor on board this year. M-Builds is coming on board for the 2022 season, and M-Builds basically has loads and loads of drift parts, cool wheels, random bits and pieces for nearly every chassis. So if you are looking for some rare parts, wheels, anything like that, do get on to M-Builds. They are building some crazy drift cars over there as well. So if you go on to Instagram and follow M-Builds, you may be in for a treat. He's always selling stuff. So big thanks to M-Builds who's come aboard this year, and they've sponsored us 2 litres of Steal It. So I've never really heard this before. Seemingly it's big in America. Steal It is a paint that when you bring your chassis down to bare metal, you can spray it with Steal It, and you can weld on this paint. So when you need to weld in an area where you've sprayed with Steal It, you can weld right on it. So unbelievable stuff. I've just got it sitting here in front of me. So M-Builds have given me like a steel grey colour. Now, am I going to get to do it on the build with the time we've left? I don't think I will. But again, we will get to it on some of the builds or for this car. But I want to thank M-Builds for sponsoring us that can of Steal It. And if you're interested in using the Steal It, get on to M-Builds as well. They may be able to help you out. They may have some in stock. But yeah, designing the new graphics now. So M-Builds will be going on the car. And we have some other sponsor announcements, which I will announce on some of the other videos as well. It's all hectic. We've 3 weeks to go to the Irish Drift Championship. Whew! Let's get this done. Got down to roll bar sorted. Had to get some new hardware. Back end is tidied up a little bit. It's no mint restoration or anything, but it's just a little bit tidier, and I've all new hardware in where I can put it in, and everything is tight, everything is checked, and everything is good to go. So I was doing a little bit of painting here today. We're just going to rub a little bit of paint in the boot just to tidy it all up. Just carry through the teal that we done in the engine bay, run that through into the boot. So I've got more paint there for Abby to do that, and we need to paint the calipers as well, just tidy them up as well. Not that it matters a shit, but I like to have it looking cool. So that's the back end complete now. I am going to go and get my BC springs. So I went with 12k springs. Yes, I know a lot of you in the comments saying go and get an anti-roll bar. There was no anti-roll bar in this car, and yes, it would be a very good idea, but in the time frame I have, I'm trying to get parts. I'm struggling already to get parts, but definitely will take your advice and definitely will look for an anti-roll bar and bushings and the brackets to hold them on. Because when I bought the BC racing coilovers, I did get drop links, so they're here somewhere. So what we're saying is we could run like the 8k spring, or was it 10k spring? Run the 10k spring with the anti-roll bar, and then take out the anti-roll bar then and run it without it in the wet, something like that. But James, chatting to you, so yeah, we'll try and figure it out. We're going to run with the 12k for now and pray that it's dry in watergrass for the first round. So I'm going to set up them BCs. I've seen Chelsea Nova and I've seen Adam LZ preloading these BCs, so you may have all have seen it. But look, I'll do a time lapse of me setting up the preset and stuff like that in the coilovers, and then we're moving to the front and we're going to get the front all assembled. Basically that will be all the suspension, brakes and everything redone in the car, brand new. Yeah, right, let me get to work. So the 12k spring is on, 62 in diameter, 160 in length, and 12k. So yeah, as it says, all the Chelsea Nova and Adam Z and all the boys that they'll be doing a bit on the YouTube. Basically what you do is spring on and you let off the two collars here. You bring this collar here up till just tight, so where the spring is just tight, and then you bring this ring up here to meet that. But when you do that, you keep threading this ring, this collar here, up until you have the thickness of your C-spanner between the two collars. Once you have that, that's what they say, your preset is set on your BC coilover. So then just nip them up. Check this one as well, but this is the front left, so this is the passenger side one. That is ready to go back in. So we leave that there nice and gently. So these are all, everything is tight here. The brake caliper. There. Do the other BC, and then that means all can go back in the front. And yeah, I did get the E46 track rods, inner tie rods. They don't look long enough, but we'll try the old €2 trick, see how it goes. Alright, I'll go back here. Won't bother doing any more time lapse on the BC. I think everybody that has BCs knows how to work them nowadays, so I won't bother filming that. And I'll go and set up the other one now. So the baby is resting. I told you to start the video, I had some news on this S54. So the M10 bowls that's required, ARP bowls, I cannot get these. Nobody seemed to can get them. So I was told that I could reuse them. So that's what I was doing. We had, how many had we done? We had 4 done. So there's the old bearings. One of them was very bad. This one here. The light can pick it up. Yeah, it looks like something got in there. I don't know, you may tell me in the comments, they're not overly bad, but it does look like some little bit of grit or something got in there. You can see it, it nearly went round on all of them. That one there's a good bit of wear on that as well. So that's why I wanted to do these. You may say they're not overly bad, but I think, yeah, that one there, you can see it. Something definitely got in there and had some fun in there. We've checked out the crank. The crank is okay, thank God. So we had 4 of them done, and we were torquing them up to 70 foot-pounds as ARP recommend. So we were doing this one, this one, this one, and this one here. These two were going good, these two were going good, this one was going good, and this one here, when we were tightening it, we were waiting for our 70 foot-pounds click, and we weren't getting it. So something was suspicious to us, and we stopped it right there because we didn't want to do anything more. And when we took it out, yeah, focus, both had stretched. So I don't know, was it that we tightened it too tight and it stretched, or was it weak? I don't know. So look, you're probably telling me I shouldn't have used them, but I kind of was a little bit desperate that I needed to get this engine done, and maybe it was a sign. I'm going to look at that as a sign anyway. I don't really care. It didn't break, but it definitely was a sign that stretched. So these cannot be got, as I says. So what I've done is I've went and ordered OEM bolts. That's all I can get. So I'm hoping with the combination of the new bearings, and the OEM bolts, I'm hoping that it'll get me out this season. If she blows, she blows. But we're waiting on the OEM bolts to come. I'm hoping that we'll be here tomorrow or the next day. But yeah, that is the story of doing the rod bearings on the S54. So it's kind of a little bit sickening, but as I said, it probably was a sign. So when the bolts come, we'll tackle this. Might not be in this episode, but yeah, that is the story of the S54. And let me cover it back up. Keep it nice and safe. They're like, I'd rather that did stretch on us here than putting it back in and maybe a torquing up and then stretching under load. So, I don't know. ARP, what is going on? What's the story with the bolts like? Can you not get M10? Neil from Katie Customs was extremely good. My engine is 02, and when you look it up, it says that up until like the first 03 was M11. So Neil was making a trip to Northern Ireland. Neil came the whole way to Longford to hand deliver my M11 ARP bolts, and then when I took off the sump, it was M10. Yes, I should have checked it. But even if I did check it, there was no M10s to be got. So look, we're going to stick with the OEM ones. We'll get to that in the next episode. Drift shop, saving the day. So we've got our rod bolts. Please tell me that they fit. Let's bring one down, try one. Yeah. I know they're only OEM, but I'm hoping that. Take the cover off again. Hopefully this is our answer. So, bye-bye. ARP. Hello, standard ones. Yeah, they work. So we need to say goodbye to these boys. Just checking there that works. And that is 100%. Thank God. Weight difference. Yeah, Definitely the ARP feel a little bit heavier, but these are what we need. So I'll get back to that job. Yeah, so with these bowls, what they recommend is tighten them 5 Newton meters, 20 Newton meters, and then I've got a torque angle thing for the end of the ratchet. It should be here tomorrow, so I'll show it to you in this episode. So basically 5, 20, and then 105 degrees of a turn. So this is sort of a little clock that you can sit your ratchet into and your socket on the other side of it, and then set it to 0, and then you can turn it your 105 degrees, which will be the specified stretch for these. But you have to do that procedure 3 times. So they say. I might look into it another bit because we need to be careful with these. But to say repeat that procedure 3 times to get the correct stretch on these. But thankfully we have them. Back to the progress in the shed. As you've seen there for the last couple of clips, it's hectic. So we've just had 2 lorry loads of concrete in today, and we have the first shutter and pans in and poured. I think it was something like a little bit over 11 meters of concrete. And the lads are reckoning that another 8 meters should fill the walls, and then we need to grade off this here and get it ready for the floor then. So yeah, this is really, it's going to be a really, really strong shed. I'll show you it now. Yeah, there is going to be no budge in this. So I suppose now it gives you an idea of the overall size of the shed. So yeah, 15-16 foot wide. It's the ground I'm working with, so it should be loads. Should be enough to get a lift in there. Now it will be pretty tight to lift up in here, but all I need is enough to get around the lift and the car, and I should be happy enough. The overall length of it and everything, it will be, as you can see now. Yeah, lift will be going up at the far corner, up the back of the shed, and then we'll have another room then to put another car in at the front. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty big shed. Put an A roof on it, and hopefully the air roof will be high enough that down this end here, that'll be able to put a little bit of a lobby up there to put up my spare parts and all that sort of stuff, store them up there. Hopefully we can do that, and then just leave the roof as high as possible up the back for the lift area. So we just poured in the last bit of the foundation there for the shutters, and yeah, the door opening I think is a little over 9 foot for the door opening, and then we are putting a pedestrian door in somewhere here. So yeah, that should be the job. Ran into a little bit of trouble there. We were digging this morning, and we hit concrete, and it turns out that it was the old septic tank which belongs to the house. So we dug this. This is only half of it. We got some of this concrete broke, but there was all sorts of shit and steel and everything in it, but got that out of it. It's a tank that's not been used anymore, so it has been filled up, packed up, and then concrete poured over it. So that doesn't exist anymore. So that's the update for the shed, and hopefully the next update I come back to is on, we'll have all this shuttered and the pans off it, and get a real clear understanding of the exact width of the shed. Transformation. I'm in my new shed, just like that. Now we've got no roof on, we've got some air conditioning, but yeah, well, like, let me see. Foundations were dug and poured on Friday. I cleared off the site on Saturday, all that dirt as you've seen from the previous episode, and today is Thursday, and the walls are up and done. So I have to say huge thanks to Ollie Doyle and Eugene Doyle. These guys are masters at this business, and if you're thinking about building a shed and you want to build it fast, these are the guys for the job. So if you are thinking about doing a shed and you're looking for it to go up this quick, do give me a message and I'll give you details to Ollie Doyle. This is serious work. Some people talk about blocking and sheeting and stuff like that. Shuttering is the way to go. So now we just need to go and we need to get materials for the roof. So we're going to put a wooden roof on it, and then just sheet it out. So we'll do the roof first, then we'll get the sheeting, and as I said in the previous episode, then we're on to Colony for Door Tech in Roscommon. They are working on the door as well, and we have a pedestrian door as well. Basically it's one of the old doors that I took out of the house when we were doing up the house, but it's going to do absolutely fine there. And the boys have left a pipe down there to get in services like power, and I probably will be putting a compressor in the other shed, so when we are doing our vlogs in the new shed we don't have a compressor rattling and banging away, so we can run our air line through there too. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So that is the updates on the shed. On the montage of what's happening, all the front suspension is back in. I just have to make up my rack spacers and set up the inner track rods and the outer track rods, or tie rods or rods, whatever. I need to sort them out, but we're very close to putting wheels back on here, getting ready to roll again. Abby has the boot painted. We just whacked a bit of paint on it, and just to tidy it up. So the boot is now matching the front of the car, the back of the car. We haven't got near the inside of the car yet. As I said earlier on in the episode, I would like to use maybe the Steelit that N-Build sponsored on the inside of the car. I think it might be very cool, and if we ever need to do some modifications inside the car, we could weld on it. So I really did want to do that before the championship, but the championship has come on way too quick now, so we're going to have to park that maybe for next year. We want to get as much driving out of this thing as possible. Right, I'm going to leave here this episode because there's a billion more things to do, and I don't want to ram you all with all the stuff that has to be done on the car. So look, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Things for me are looking up a little bit better. It was pretty grim at the start of this episode, but things are starting to come together now. I'm starting to see the light a little bit. First round of the championship, Watergrasshill, 10th and 11th of June. We'll see us there. I'm going to bring us right up from building all of this to a fully functioning car into round one. Fingers crossed it goes okay. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one when we tackle this thing and get this thing back in there.